another day in the market, and we are slowly moving higher. Not every coin is reflecting that, but some of them are not going down. That's the favor which they are doing to us. Now that's not great. Fine. Now when we come back to the top to the bottom, say big coins, we understand like all of them are not doing that great when you see other coins pumping. But yes, you do have to understand how the market works, right? Not every coin moves together. Say this is one of the idea which I was presenting, and say some time back when we were going to the downside, this is what I actually shared. Now yes, I shared it with my Patreon group first, but it's XRP related information, so I gave it to my viewers too. And at that point, remember, the price was going down. The price was literally going down, and that was clearly when we were saying, okay, this looks really like the late accumulation and the capitulation in that accumulation range. Now if you look at the current scenario, yes, that was here. We bounced, came towards the moving average, then again went back, retested. Now we got bounced and we are flirting with the moving average. Do we go higher or are we going to go lower? Now even if we are going to go lower, I don't think it's going to be that low. Like once we went to 0.8, afterwards 0.82, then 0.83. Similarly, even if you are going to go down, now you have another support level, which is this resistance turned into a support, which is 0.93. So all of these are support. Now your resistance is on the upside, right? This previous support is acting as resistance. The moving average itself is acting as resistance. So when you look at the market in general, you see, okay, we have positive news, which is the MACD is crossing to the upside. RSI is breaking to the upside. Now remember, you've been waiting for this from August. So now one and a half month of consolidation. Now we are slowly turning to the upside. Just you need the price to break above the resistance and the moving average. So once it does that, this is the scenario. This is on a weekly. You just took a step back and you're looking at the macro scenario. And here you see this. The RSI is bouncing. Now we need to break out of this one. Remember, we have been in this particular trend. Now yes, the bottom, the rising low is there from 2020, I agree, but this particular trend of lower highs started from 2020, late 2020. So when we started peaking in November 2020 after this swell, you do have to understand we do have another November coming, that's just next month, and we do have a swell. So we do have to look at what are going to be coming out as announcement, because they are also going to affect short-term market volatility. If the market is going up, these can pump the market like this. So you do have to take all of this into account. When you get these candles as a support level, and then before touching this long-term support, if you're bouncing, you're asking a question to yourself, what's happening? Then you zoom in to see what's happening. You come here, you see that this was the previous support range. We went into that range, we capitulated. Yes, we did. Now looking at the RSI, it can be either a bull flag or a reversal. Why? Because the price is trending to the upside and the RSI is not. So that you don't have that strength in RSI from the side of buyers in XRP on 4-hour chart. On a short term, that's not that super bullish, but on a long term, it is, as we just saw, right? So short term, you may not get the accurate results which you want, but in medium to long term, you're going to get that. Now this is Bitcoin. If you remember, we talked about this. We said we are going to break to the upside, and if we break, we need to close above that on a daily. Now we got that. Look at the resistance above you. It's 53k, 60k, and 65, like that. So if Bitcoin is going to continue, yes, big cap altcoins are going to be slow, but small cap will pump. Now that's how the market works. The flow of the market works like that. Now do have to understand, like, different coins pump differently. When you go and look at which coins did well and understand, okay, these in first 100 did well, then these in next 100 to 200 did fine. Now you're going to look like, okay, I'm not that short term guy, I'm looking for at least a week. Then you're like, okay, these coins did well in last 1 week, and you find others too. So you do have to understand there's a lot of opportunities in the market which exist there. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. When I was saying like this, in the wave 1, many of you looked at it, listened to it, digested it well, and you had a lot of profit. Now, the wave 2 is starting, you see coins moving. So flow of money in a Bitcoin causing price surges. So you're going to see that money flows into Ether, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin. Ether goes up and down. We are actually watching that one. Now, that phase in wave 1 is slowly there. Then Ether took off. They slowed down. Now we are looking like a lot of coins, and then large cap coins. Yes, XRP went up. We slowed down. Then you're seeing a lot of small coins pumping. Now in last wave, we had something like this, right? Now in wave 2, what I'm personally looking at is like, okay, we are gonna look at many coins pumping and all, because in the last one we have seen like Doge coin pumping, Shiba, Akita, and others pumping, and I was like, the meme coins were everywhere. People were moving into them, and that was it, right? The market tanked. Now, what are you looking at right now? You just go into the market, you look at these, and you're like, not all of them are meme coins. You look at the daily volume and you see like some of them are like medium cap coins, not that smaller micro cap coins. Looking at the daily volume and the liquidity there for buy and sell, it's in millions. That's okay. You can get in, you can get out. But there are some coins which really look fishy. You don't even have $10,000 worth of 24-hour liquidity. Say, it's going to be super risky when you're entering into such coins and try to get out. We've seen that some of them pumping and dropping immediately, all those. If you're going in, you do have to make sure that you are going to have liquidity, because say here you see this particular coin did 27% in last week. It only have $5,000 there, so it's like zero buy, zero sell. There is no liquidity inside it. So if you are getting stuck with some of the coins like that, it's going to be really hard to get out. So before you enter into any asset, look at that first. Now, why am I highlighting this? Because we have a lot of opportunities in the market. See, this one I posted before for Dent, highlighting the RSI is going to break. RSI is breaking, MACD is trending higher, the price is going to break. And as soon as it breaks, you're going to go through these levels. And look at the Dent now. You see that, it hit all our targets and even exceeded a little bit, and then came back to that top level. That's opportunity, right? So to understand that, I actually posted this one previously. It was just 2-3 weeks back, right? September 18, and you see this. Okay, we had that early accumulation, we capitulated, we did that mid accumulation range. Then we had that pump and again an accumulation, which is late accumulation. Now what? Early markup. Now different guys would plot this differently, but the change would only be there in showing the mid accumulation range. Some would show it like this in this area and put even this fluctuation in the late accumulation. Both are kind of similar, just the understanding is where the early markup is starting, where the early accumulation is starting, right? Then you are comparing in between. So now at that point in time, I was showing this is early markup, and now you go look at the price and you see, yes, the price is moving higher. Then you look at OMG, we were kind of somewhere here. Now, even before that, when we were trading here at 3.95, remember it was not that far away. It was in July 28th when I posted this chart to my patrons, showing this is a huge opportunity and this is what we are anticipating, right? From there, you had like 20 to 30x as your ROI. And then now, this one is showing like, we are moving higher. We have these targets, and that's when we capitulated, and it was really hard for a lot of guys to see the price tank. And I came up with that and say, this is going to go higher like this. You do have to take your profit when it's going towards your resistance. So that's like $18, $20 here. If you look at this. Now, you look at the market, we went to $18. we slowed down. Now there's another asset which I posted there. So all of these are in this market. All of this opportunity exists in this market. See, for Luna precisely, we followed this in July. So August, September, just 2 months. And now the price is higher. So here we were saying, okay, this is just $7 and this looks fine because we were bouncing from that support zone, the moving average zone. RSI was breaking out, MACD was crossing to the upside, and yes, we followed it. Now the price is near $34 and it hit our target 1. It's moving towards our target 2. If you are trading, yes, you do have a lot of opportunities. You just have to go through the charts individually and understand these exist. But before you enter into them, make sure you understand the macro scenario. You understand which asset you are entering and what the reason for that is. That's why we are in XRP. Because XRP goes with all the fundamentals. XRP gives you that clarity why it exists and what pain points it's solving. So when we look at this, and if you really want to go through that, that's a big report. I actually went through it yesterday, read it. It's a lot. Now there's no Ripple in XRP there, but it's literally blockchain interoperability. Now payments interoperability is not just a small thing, because when you go through it, you have a tons of stuff there. Say there are items like, say, personal information, right? You're looking at the banking sector, you're looking at medical sector, wherever you're looking at, you have a lot of personal information. Now you also see like, okay, that particular institution just dropped your information, some hackers took your information, personal information. So now it's tied up basically with money in payments. So that's important. So we have projects like, say, Doc, where they are actually doing this in part in combination with W3C, the interoperability layer, which ILP, Intelligent Protocol, Ripple, like that. So yes, there is a lot of things to it. But when you are coming here, this is an important stuff. And if you understand this properly, I've been saying this here from last 2 years, listen to this. This is going to happen. This is coming. And read this. In the coming years, many central banks will likely implement some form of digital ledger. Sorry for that. Central banks will select the tech stacks and design protocols that make the most sense for their constituents, taking factors like governance, market requirements, technology providers, compliance and standards. That's why we have ISO, following all the rules, standards, regulatory clarity, except in US. Yes, we have that for Ripple, XRP and ILP. Then nation-specific priorities into consideration. So, all of them are pointing towards, you only have like 2 big guys who is providing that interoperability. One comes from Interledger Protocol, which is, Ripple. And then another comes from Overledger Protocol, which is from Quant. Now, you look at the price of Quant, it has skyrocketed. Initially, was at $1.5 in this market cycle, and now it went to $400, and it makes sense to say buy low, sell high. So $1 to $400, I'm not actually entering there. Whereas you see the similar fundamentals, just because of SEC, you are slowed down in XRP, but the project, the protocol, the value doesn't change, and all of these factors are still the same. So based on Peter Lynch, based on Howard Marks, and all these investors, I understand like, okay, if the value of that project is not changing, the fundamental is not changing, my investment strategy in this asset is not changing. Now, a network of blockchain, where did you hear this first? Go through it and understand. There's going to be a lot of different central bank digital currencies. You have a lot of payment hubs being tested by Bank of International Settlements in Singapore and all. Check the reports. We went through that before, so I'm not bringing that again. But you have the name Intelligent Protocol. You have the name Ripple and XRP as an asset, payment asset. So when you come here, begin developing a framework for interoperability that would work across different blockchain networks and be independent of underlying blockchain mechanisms. That is really important. Now you go through, you can read everything. I'm going to put this in the description. You will understand we are going to take a part or a chunk of this market, because you don't have too much competition here. You only have limited number of competition, which is getting real adoption across the world. But even though that's the case, one is going after commercial banks. One is going after commercial banks and the central banks. They're working with 40 to 50 central banks. Which one you think is going to have that impact when this is the case? Now, if you didn't understand that one, I'll actually take you back to this point and ask you these questions again. Many central bank will likely implement some form of digital ledger. So it's about the central bank ledger with the central bank digital currencies. So which ledger you think is more important? The one connected with commercial bank or the one connected with central banks? So that's where I'm like, okay, I know what my foundation is for why I'm investing in this particular asset. So if you understand that, stay strong, because that's so important. Now, IMF recommends central bank digital currency and global crypto standards for financial stability. Now we are looking at this. We are looking at a lot of different side of this, where we have like inflation going through the skies. Stagflation is here following months of rising prices. That's inflation. And a year back when we were saying this is going to happen, mass media was like, nah, there is nothing. This is just coming and going. It just neglect it. But right now, it's here to stay. Okay, that's great. Now, at the same time, you have this too. Now, if this is really happening, that's a big poverty in China. That's not going to end well for the world, because last time in 2008 we had a crisis and China had a lot of money back then to put it into the economy, which pulled us kind of afloat. So they built ghost cities. They put in a lot of money in the market. Now they also have debt. That's a big deal. Now when you come into the charts, you see like, okay, that's happening on the fundamental side. Your purchasing power is being reduced. You need any assets which at least preserve your value, so that in terms of dollar, you're moving up. So yes, when you look at XRP on a macro scale, in last 1 year, if you just stood here, you're like 400% up in your dollars. Now, if you were able to take some at the top, you're like 10-15x in the market. Now, if you're a risky guy, you have a lot of risky assets, you would have made even more. But even if you are not taking that much of risk, because XRP has that fundamentals, you are able to make that. Now, what you're waiting for is the money to rotate into the large cap. Understand this. Large caps are not pumping initially. So when you see movement, a lot of movement in Bitcoin, and you don't see your coin doing well with that, and yours is a fundamental coin with a lot of, inside that big cap, the large cap, don't just directly jump into the other coins which are moving, because they have already started that move and the ROI has been reduced. So if you stay with your coin, you're going to make that. If you're going to jump here and there like, the monkey jumping, as I say, you may not be able to make that amount of real ROI, because that coin from $1 to $10, you get 10x. But 1 to 3, if it has already done that move from $1 to $3 and you're entering there, you get 3x. Whereas your original coin, it would have given you like 5x. Not 10x, but 5x at least. It's better than moving in and out, because you're paying spread here. You're going there to buy that. You're again paying spread there. Now, you don't want to do that, right? So be logical before you do anything. Think twice and think about all the factors before you execute that decision. So before we end this one up, I would actually like to take you guys directly towards the XRP chart, where we have to look at this. Okay, fine, we are at that area where we are going to break, right? We got this pattern, which is a red candle in between this green. If you are able to close above the moving average or close in a green candle somewhere near 1.1, you get a continuation pattern. Now, the problem with this pattern on a daily, now not that macro but that short term, medium term kind of stuff, you're getting this inside this. So if you are getting rejected, that's bad news, because that's a resistance, right? Previous support, right now resistance. It may get back, head back. So now if it is being hit back, you would be drawing your line like this to see where it's going to go down. Fine. then again you're going to go into this and bounce. So if you are into this and you have a long time, you don't have to trade in between, fine, just hold it tight. But if you have to, consider other assets as well. Have a long-term portfolio, short-term portfolio, or a trading bag which is not like big one, say 10-20% of your portfolio. Use it wisely, because this is happening. So if you are in the right coins, you don't have to be in, say there would be 100 or thousands of coins here. If you find 5 of them, good one, you are entering there and you're making money, that's fine. You don't have to be in all of those to make the real ROI. And those people who went from, say, 300k towards 3 million, 250k towards 4 million, they understand this. After that, it dropped. They came back to 1.5, 1.2. Now they're back up to 2.2, 3, right? So how does this happen? Because you're in the right coin, money will always flow into it. But there are coins which pump like this and dump like that. Done. If you entered there and you didn't exit, you're stuck there for a long time. So you do have to take these into consideration when you're putting your money into the market. So guys, if you receive value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. And if you want these kind of updates before you see this price go high and you need to know where to take the profits, definitely look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. And this is the start of the month where you get the maximum value for your money for that month. You can look at it. So guys, I'll be meeting you guys back in the next video. Bye for now.